All right, let's jump right into this explainer. If you've ever found yourself wondering exactly how websites juggle thousands of active user profiles or process those massively complex forms, or honestly how a single missed line of code can lead to a catastrophic data breach, well, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're unpacking the core mechanics of PHP data handling, specifically focusing on arrays, strings, and securing your forms.
So how exactly do web apps keep your data securely locked down? Well, before an application can even think about securing your data, developers first need to master the fundamental tools used to collect, group, and manipulate it, right? It's like trying to build a fortress. You literally can't do it if you don't know how to mix the mortar. We really need to look at how data is structured behind the scenes the second a user hits that submit button.
So, here is our agenda for today. 1. PHP data fundamentals. 2. Mastering PHP arrays. 3. String manipulation. 4. Handling HTML forms. And finally, 5. Securing form data. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. PHP Data Fundamentals.
Let's start with a basic reality of modern web development. As web applications grow in complexity, your ability to effortlessly group related items, manipulate text, and safely process user interaction becomes absolutely essential. Gone are the days of those clunky, static HTML pages where the information just never changes. In modern PHP apps, everything is dynamic. Every single time you log in, buy a product, or scroll through a personalized feed, the server is rapidly organizing and processing massive amounts of data in real time.
Moving on to Section 2, Mastering PHP Arrays.
Think of an array as your master container. It holds a list of related items, say a list of student names, maybe test scores, or even product attributes, all in one convenient place. Because, let's be real, instead of creating 10 completely different variables for 10 different fruits, you just create one single array called fruits and toss everything inside it. This single container concept is the foundational building block for practically all complex data management in PHP.
And the great part is you aren't just limited to a simple flat list. You've got indexed arrays, which use simple numeric indices, item 0, 1, 2. Then there are associative arrays, which basically act like labeled filing cabinets. You can ask for a student's name, and boom, you instantly get Anna. Finally, multi-dimensional arrays. To put that into perspective, these function like a highly complex spreadsheet grid. They are quite literally arrays placed inside of other arrays, which allows you to map out incredibly intricate data structures, like organizing a whole school full of different classrooms.
Now, to actually use these containers effectively, PHP gives you a bunch of built-in functions to dynamically manipulate them. You can count the number of elements, push new items to the end, pop them off, merge two totally separate arrays together, or search through them using InArray. Imagine you're checking if a username is already taken during a sign-up process. Yep, that is InArray hard at work. Developers rely on these functions constantly, often pairing them with looping structures like for each to automatically process and spit out massive lists of data on a web page, all without writing a ton of repetitive code.
Section 3. String Manipulation.
So now that we can group our data, let's talk about manipulating raw text. Strings are the absolute foundation of text processing here. PHP lets you easily stitch them together using concatenation, which is essentially snapping words together like Lego bricks, using the simple dot operator. Plus, you can dynamically interpolate variables directly inside double quotes. So if you have a variable named John, you just write hello inside double quotes, drop that variable right in there, and PHP instantly knows how to read it. It makes text formatting incredibly fluid.
This is essentially your visual cheat sheet for string manipulation. You have the power to extract substrings, replace specific words, or quickly remove messy whitespace using trim. But I really want you to pay special attention to explode and implode. Explode acts like actually scratch that, it's more like dynamite. It blasts a long string of text apart into a clean, separated array of items. Conversely, implode acts like glue, taking an array and fusing it right back into a single string. They really are just two halves of the same coin.
Now, for highly specific pattern matching, PHP uses regular expressions, commonly called regex. I know, regex syntax can literally look like someone just mashed their keyboard, but it is incredibly powerful. Functions like preg_match let you seamlessly search text based on strict predefined rules. So if you need to guarantee a user's input only contains letters from A to Z, regex handles that heavy lifting for you instantly.
Section 4. Handling HTML forms. With arrays and strings mastered, let's take these tools to the actual job site, user forms. Forms rely on standard HTML tags, things like input, text area, and select, to collect information and then send it directly over to your PHP server for processing. This is the moment your application actually becomes interactive. The user types their data on the front end, hits submit, and bam, that data is blasted over to your PHP scripts on the back end, ready to be collected.
The crucial thing here is choosing the right delivery method. The GET method appends the data directly into the URL. This is fantastic for search queries because, a user can easily bookmark or share that link. But you would absolutely never want to use GET for something like a password. Broadcasting it in plain text to the entire world? No way. That's exactly where the POST method comes in. POST securely hides those sensitive inputs deep inside the HTTP request itself, keeping things like login credentials and private messages completely out of plain sight.
Section 5. Securing form data. Finally, we reach the most critical phase, neutralizing the inherent danger of user input. Listen, if you simply trust the data users give you, your app instantly becomes vulnerable to severe attacks. We're talking about XSS, where hackers inject malicious scripts, or CSRF, which forces unwanted actions. An XS attack happens when a bad actor submits raw JavaScript through your form, and your server unwittingly displays that script to other users, executing it right there in their browsers. Meanwhile, a CSRF attack tricks an already logged-in user into unknowingly submitting a malicious command. Both are massive vulnerabilities, and it's totally on us as developers to stop them.
To combat these threats, you absolutely must understand the difference between validation and sanitization. Think of validation as a bouncer checking IDs at the door to ensure the data is correct, like verifying that an email address actually has an @ symbol in it. Sanitization, on the other hand, is like a metal detector that actively cleans the data of dangerous elements, stripping out potentially harmful HTML tags before they ever get near your database.
By combining specific functions, like filter var for that validation step, and HTML CSS to convert special HTML characters, you can actively prevent those malicious scripts from ever executing on your server. If someone tries to be sneaky and submit a script tag, HTML CSS just quietly converts those angle brackets into harmless text entities. The browser will then just display the code as normal text on the screen, rather than running it as a dangerous program.
What this means is your secure form handling pipeline needs to follow these exact steps every single time. 1. Receive the input. 2. Validate its format to ensure it's what you asked for. 3. Sanitize it to strip out any hidden dangers. And 4. Store it securely before immediately redirecting the user. That last step, the redirect, is absolutely crucial. By redirecting the user after a successful form submission, you prevent them from hitting refresh and, say, accidentally buying that same product twice.
Additionally, implementing session tokens is a real game changer. It helps store user data safely across pages, providing a vital layer of protection against those CSRF attacks we just talked about. Sessions basically let you generate a unique, hidden token, think of it like a secret digital handshake, when the form loads. Then you verify that exact same token when the form is submitted. This guarantees the request genuinely came from your actual website and not some forged, malicious link.
So as you take all these concepts and start building out your own functional contact forms, remember this: using your array and string toolkit is only half the job. Securing your application is your ultimate responsibility. Because out on the wild web, attackers only have to be right once, but we have to be right every single time. So looking closely at your own code, are your forms truly secure, or are they just waiting to be tested? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.